Oh, thank you, Marta, for the great introduction. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be here today and taking a deeper dive into the employee development initiatives we offer as an organization and why it's really crucial to focusing on the development of your teams and supporting new talent for the success of your business. Before we are getting into the topic, well, I would like to explain who Cielo actually is. And helping you understand what we are actually doing. So who is Cielo? To give you some context of the focus behind our development programs, let me briefly share who we are. So Cielo is a global talent acquisition partner, and we are operating across 113 countries in 39 languages with about 3,000 employees serving our 255 clients. We work with our clients, often embedding ourselves in their organization as an extension of their internal teams, ultimately helping our partners attract and retain the best people. So we are proud to have been recognized in the industry for the work we've done for our clients and our people, including being part of the first ever global top 100 inspiring workplaces. Really proud. So employee development, the significance of employee development is probably out of doubt. So at Cielo, we recognize, as you certainly do, that people are our most important assets. And by developing their skills, there are only positives to the business. And for example, as we are a pure people business, it's even more important to us. I think we're actually all aware of the advantage of employee development, right? So competitive advantage, because there will always be new technologies and this area will always be growing. It's important to innovate and for clients and keep ahead of the curve. So improved performance is one of the other things that talent development should help with. Enhancing knowledge leads to better job performance and productivity. And no doubt it supports retention and engagement because employees keep engaged and their morale is really boosted and turnover is reduced if they feel that they can stay with the company and develop within the company. As much as it is important to look at succession planning and upskilling existing talent, it is important for talent attraction if people understand outside of your company that you are developing people, that you are providing a great career. Of course, they're attracted more and more likely to join your company if you've got an open role. And last not least, leadership development. This is extremely important for us because we are a service provider. We are working with teams and delivery leads and client services managers, for example. And we are very much focusing on nurturing our future leaders to really ensure a strong talent pipeline and the skills and knowledge that will be passed on to our teams that they are actually leading. Well, however, talent development, one thing is really key because otherwise you can't customize your talent development. And this is listening, listening, listening. So pretty much all companies are putting a focus on talent development, even more than they did in the past for various reasons. So COVID and the move to more flexible work requirements is one of them, but also generational changes, commercial considerations, and new technology. But one thing never changed. We need to ask and listen to the ones we want to develop so that we are customizing our programs. So how do we listen at Cielo? 3 times a year, we are surveying our employees with 2 pulse surveys and 1 full engagement survey. That informs us on what's going on well and, to be honest, what's not going so well, and really helps decide where time and energy is best spent. These surveys are a key part of our overall development strategy to help us assess people satisfaction, also enhancing employee engagement, and of course, improving our communications across the business, and allows for continuous improvement over time. We are assessing the effectiveness of any changes that, for example, we've just recently done within our companies. So these surveys are a really valuable tool and are the minimum initiative organizations should be executing to understand, assess, and improve the employee experience. To be honest, not always the responses is what you would like to see, maybe from a HR leadership perspective or from a business perspective. However, it is the truth if your employees are playing that back, and even if it's only their perception and you think reality looks differently, that doesn't change anything in people's eyes, right? So The surveys are providing data-driven insights that can lead to an even more engaged and committed workforce, ultimately contributing to the organization's success and sustainability. And I think it also reflects that a company is really interested in their employees. And this is something that our employees were playing back. And you can, for example, see on the right-hand side what our employees have said. It's important for them to be asked, to be engaged with us. And they see that we are really focusing on understanding what they truly, really want. The other one that informs us on where we are at and is part of our listening strategy is the online reputation. Online is strong. It's really a strong measure in the market, how your reputation also in terms of development looks outside of the company. So from the reviews we receive online, we notice some comments that pick up on areas of development and often see a confusion between promotions and development. I don't know if you would agree, but sometimes you might have experienced that as well. If I'm not promoted, that means there was no development. This seems to be sometimes common sense, and learning on the job is not always recognized as development. The more important it is that we are talking about and that we are communicating about the resources that we are offering as a company for people to understand how we define development and what's out there for their development. Talent development is an investment for the future. It costs money, but also energy and innovation spirit. So, and if we are doing it right, it definitely provides a huge return of investment. So let's have a look on how this can look like, how you could invest in your talent development. So based on the feedback we got, we've built our excellence model, and our approach is balancing the use of our internal subject matter expertise and external market leaders to support our pursuits of excellence. So this is really geared to accessible programs and customized to what we need. Let me quickly talk about the slide that you can see in front of us. So there is one thing that is key to us, and this is that our employees are understanding our strategy and the vision for the future. Why are we doing what we are doing as a company? So there needs to be transparency of what we want to achieve as a company so that we can ensure that everyone can really navigate our changes and what we are doing and why we're implementing new technology, why we are changing ways of working, and again, why we are doing the things we are doing. We are providing learning resources and programs to ensure that every leader and employees know how to drive their development and performance through goals and development plans. So we have goal setting that is aligned to our company goals. It's very transparent to employees how they can contribute to us achieving our business goals and them achieving their development goals, for example, by setting up a development plan, an individual development plan for them. Of course, we've got also talent development live classes. Those are really 100% customized courses for us, built out by our instructional designer team that is sitting in-house and is fully customized to the job that we want people to do and how we can support them. And as we are working with clients in the services industry, there's a lot about stakeholder management, emotional intelligence, intercultural communication, because we are working on a global scale, and being consultative with our clients. The external partners, for example, which is key to us in our industry, is sourcing. So finding the right candidates, sourcing for candidates. And we are working with a very well-known person in that market, basically the leader in the industry in terms of sourcing. And he has created together with us learning programs and providing learning programs fully customized to our needs. As we are a global company, as I just said, we are using a tool called Country Navigator. And this is the market leading platform that is providing personalized learning to leaders to ensure global cultural competence and inclusive leadership. It's a huge database in terms of how to operate in Asia, how to operate in Europe, what the cultural differences look like, to create your own cultural profile to see how you're aligning or maybe not aligning, or where the difference sits in working with another market. Very specific to our industry, we are using a provider called Social Talent, and this is a market leading platform for recruiters and self-guided learning for the variety of skills that our recruiters and talent acquisition coordinators, for example, need to evolve in their roles. What else? So we recognized that there was a shortage in the labor market for what we need talent acquisition specialists in our specific area. And this has led us to filling the gap internally by developing our own program. And we've launched last year the Cielo University. This is our internal education platform, ensuring our recruiters and leaders can deliver on our promise. And we've launched several programs that are up and running now, and where we already got some good feedback. So as an example, we have a 6-week program which focuses on those new to the role of a recruiter and includes the full recruitment lifecycle, relevant soft skills, and Cielo system training. For existing recruitment experience, we have self-paced curriculum based on our core productivity. We've got some programs that are developing our senior recruiters to become an industry expert. For example, we've got large clients in the healthcare sector, and we are supporting people to really expand their presence and their knowledge in the healthcare recruitment sector. Leadership programs are available on different levels, depending on the seniority, if it's a starter or if it's someone who on a manager level, and also for senior directors and VPs, we've got some programs in place. This was a huge commitment from our side to invest in that Cielo University, because we are building all of our curriculums ourselves, but we can already see that there is a huge return of investment in terms of engagement and the feedback we see from those who are participating in the program. And I'm not reading this because you can see it in front of you on the screen, but these are some of the success stories who have been already shared with us. It's great for us to see that our people like what we are doing and that this responds to what they've actually requested in terms of their development within Cielo. Although talent development is classically driven by HR, it's always defined as an HR topic. For me, it's pretty clear talent development cannot do this alone. It's not working if just HR is delivering kind of talent development. It's a responsibility that is really shared, and it is shared with the business. So leaders and employees are both playing a key role in driving their development. From an HR perspective or a company perspective, you can build the platform, but people need to take it up and also driving it themselves from a leadership company perspective, as well as employees. So it is important that leaders, for example, know about talent development tools and programs that are provided, to have a meaningful conversation with the employee, to look and managing and setting up their individual development plan objectives, that they support them in learning, that they're giving them constant feedback on the BAU, so business as usual learning, so that they can understand where they are in their development. But also, on the other hand, employees need to drive and need to take ownership of their own career. So they should also be interested in setting their development goals, looking into it, creating kind of self-awareness where they might need to support, addressing support needs very openly with their leaders. So this is very much all about communication between the leaders, between peers, between HR, but also the leaders and the employees. So again, it's a shared responsibility, and talent development or HR can't do this alone. So for those who are leading and looking at and watching the session today, it's really about all of our engagement, and leaders are really key and playing a key role in this. As I just said, communication is key. So there is no use of offering a wealth of training resources if you do not clearly communicate this to the wider business. If no one knows what you're offering, people will always reflect, there is no development, there is nothing for me. So we have looked at different ways on how we can communicate. There is no way, never only one way how you can do it. I think it's also the breadth of information and communication platforms that you are providing, because we all know we've got different preferences on how we would like to receive information and how we want to digest information. So just some of the ways we've shared our updates are including, for example, posts on a Viva Engage community specific for learning and development opportunities. Of course, we are leveraging our company intranet homepage and new segments there. We've created global monthly newsletters. Talent development is always a topic in our all hands calls delivered globally. We've got internal mobility open house sessions so that our internal mobility team is working through our employees on how and what's on offer in terms of internal mobility, to also help them understand what kind of open roles we have, where they might need to develop into if they would like to have one of these roles. So we are offering also talent development roadshows, so that people can understand what's out there, what might be the best fit for me and my development plan. So a lot of these things, these are the highlights, but we are really trying to talk about talent development everywhere in the company. So if we look at all the initiatives that I've just talked you through, at the end of the day, for a company, it's important to understand if all of these actions have been impacting and successful. So we need to measure talent development as well. And we think it is important to do it both internally and externally, as we want to know if we are making a difference or not. So there is a focus on goal setting each year with specifically crafted individual development plans, as I mentioned before, to really help our people identify career aspirations, goals, strength and development needs. All of these circle back to our own organizational goals and helping understand where they fit into our success. So a measurement, for example, is to see how many people have their goals set properly and an individual development plan in place. Externally, for example, we benchmark ourselves against similar businesses when reviewing feedback we receive from surveys in online reviews. We are really proud that since last year, we are also offering an alumni community for past employees of Cielo, who can access a variety of industry insights, knowledge, news, and content, and their engagement is a great measure too. So although they might have left the company for whatever kind of reason, they would like to stay in touch with us. And that's great for us to see that although people might work for another company now, they are still somehow connected to us and they are still having a kind of bond built with Cielo, which might give us the opportunity to rehire them at some point in time. So what's next? What are we doing? Talent development is a journey, and we acknowledge we're only at the start of ours. There's so much more that we can do in terms of talent development. I think we got a good start so far, and we've built a solid foundation. But yeah, many people are working from home now, and there is a shifting in work-life balance. And we must make sure that we are striking the balance between flexibility and fairness, of course. So we need to be more flexible with learning and accommodate our people with trainings and resources at a time that suits them. It's not easy on a global scale to provide all of that, but we have reshaped our talent development team, for example, to have people in region so that we can really cover 24 hours learning opportunities for our people wherever they might sit and wherever they might work. It's also, I think, it was already on the agenda, I think, today is the ED&I initiatives with more cultural alignment, being mindful of how different we are and that we all want to bring ourselves to work, which is one of the headlines that we are supporting at Cielo. So we will definitely focus on evolving, developing, stay close to the market, stay close to our employees, listening to them. And as you can see here, I mean, illuminate talent wherever it's found. This is our passion, and we really enjoy the journey all along the way. Thank you for your attention. If any questions, please put them into the chat, but you can also reach out to me directly at any time. Thank you very much.